Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Today we have a very special guest with us. He is a political commentator. He has had vast experience as a journalist, and he writes frequently for us. Rajesh Singh. Rajesh Singh ji, welcome to PGurus channel.
Thank you.
So Rajesh Singh and we were talking about the recent happenings in Congress, especially the statement that was given by the former External Affairs Minister Salman Khurshid about Congress having the blood of Muslims. And this raises the question again, which I had mentioned in a previous talk about is the Congress beginning to head towards a split of Swadeshis versus Videshis? And if that be the case, is this one other chink in their armor that's showing up? To know more about this and the ground reality and what could have or what could be happening in Uttar Pradesh, let's ask Sri Rajesh Singh the same question. So what do you make of it, sir?
You see, every time Salman Khurshid speaks, you need to take his statements with utmost caution. I would say with a pinch of salt. You know, there has been a great deal of accolades for him ever since he made this remark at a Aligarh Muslim University rally, where he said that the Congress has the blood of innocent Muslims on its hands, in the sense that several communal riots which have taken Muslim lives have happened during Congress regimes. But you see, he stops short of the truth. He is talking of Muslim blood. But communal riots have also claimed Hindu blood. Communal riots have also claimed Sikh blood. Have we forgotten 1984? So why is he only speaking half-truth? So even in that so-called confession, he is resorting to the appeasement that the Congress is known for. Let us not forget that in 2012, in the run-up to the Uttar Pradesh Assembly election, he had dangled the dole of reservations for Muslims on the basis of their religion, which is totally against the constitution and against what the Supreme Court verdicts have been in the past. So, you know, I don't think we should fall head over heels over what he has said. I would have been happier if he had said the complete truth.
You know, there is a certain amount of vacuum that has happened in terms of who's the real representative of the Muslims. Not that they really had one. Everybody has tried to assume that mantle, not very successfully, I must say. But you bring up an interesting point. You see, the K. Chandrasekhar Rao of Telangana, the Telangana Rashtriya Samiti, I think TRS party. Anyway, the Telangana, the party that's in power in Telangana. He has passed a rule that Muslims are going to have 12 to 15%. I forget the number, 15%, I think, reservations. And he knows fully well that the Supreme Court is going to strike it down, and yet he has the gall to pass something like this so that he can go back to the people when elections come in 2019 saying that, listen, I tried my best, but, you know, my hands are tied, or something of that nature. So, you know, this appeasement of any particular, you know, religion or for that matter, any voting bloc, this is really becoming more like, it's become an endemic disease now. And I hope that, you know, this is going to come to a stop sometime soon. But you bring up another interesting point that, you know, why only the Muslim blood? Why not the others? So I really don't have any other explanations other than to say that perhaps he is fishing for trying to become the voice of the Muslims. Do you think that's true?
That may be his intention, but he is not going to become the voice of the Muslims, for the simple reason that he has no voice within even his own party today. So how is he going to pitch himself as a Muslim voice? In any case, he was never known as a Muslim leader. He doesn't have a mass base to begin with, and he's lost previous elections. So I don't think he can be a Muslim voice. What he's trying to perhaps position himself is a voice of the Congress in some ways, to wean away the Muslim votes which have shifted over the years from the Congress. But you see that maybe that was his intention when he made this remark at the AMU event. The Karnataka elections are due, right? And maybe he is trying to ensure that the Muslim votes remain with the Congress in Karnataka. But I think quite the opposite will happen because of this remark of his. Quite a considerable section of Muslim votes could very well veer towards the Janata Dal Secular of H.D. Deve Gowda as a result of this remark. I don't think the Muslims are going to take this remark as a confession made in sincerity. They will take it as an admission of guilt. And so that's how it's going to pan out.
I think you bring up an interesting point that the Muslim vote might navigate towards or gravitate towards JDS. But tell me something, Rajesh. Was there not a shifting of the Muslim women vote toward BJP because BJP had taken up the cause of triple talaq?
I cannot say with certainty that this happened. This has been the perception that a lot of Muslim women votes went to the BJP in the last 2017 UP Assembly election because of the triple talaq issue. That may well have happened, but I have no empirical evidence to or material or statistics to prove that as a certainty. But the perception was there, and it is possible, of course, that certain Muslim votes which might otherwise not have gone to the BJP could have gone there. So that possibility is there. But in any case, I do not think that it was in such considerable numbers that you can say that the Muslims are now shifting towards the BJP per se.
I also want to bring up one other issue here about a challenge that Congress faces in Karnataka. You see, the Gujarat elections ended before these dicey verdicts started coming out. For instance, the 2G verdict, and then after that, the 2 times when the Marans were let off, and so on and so forth. And now the new thing about wanting to impeach the judiciary. So there definitely is a perception about Congress. India always runs on perceptions, not on the truth. There's perception that Congress is somehow trying to undermine the judiciary. And I don't know if that is going to be another thing that the people of Karnataka might punish it for. What are your thoughts?
It might be a factor in the election, but I very much doubt that it is going to be a decisive factor. You see, the people of Karnataka are voting on basic issues that have to do with their grievances. I do not think the independence of the judiciary is very high on the priority list of the ordinary Kannadiga. They have so many issues that they need to tackle. There is a farmer distress. There are other problems. Corruption is another issue. So, in the intellectual circles, yes. In the informed circles, yes. The impeachment of the Chief Justice of India, that attempt might play a role. But overall, I do not think that will be a contributing factor in terms of vote shifts. Yes, in terms of perception that the Congress is opposed to a free judiciary might be there, and it might be there at the back of the mind of the voters. But I do not think that is going to become the core issue for the voters when they line up at the polling booths.
So I think the surveys of pre-poll surveys are all indicating a very tight finish. I somehow have a feeling that it's going to be decisive. And the reason for that, the only thing I can say is to add to that point about the Congress government in Karnataka. What had happened recently was there's a very popular website called postcard.news, postcard.news. And it's very popular not only in English, but also in Kannada. It's perceived to be right-wing. And what the Karnataka government did was they arrested the editor and they kept him in jail for 17 days. He was in judicial custody, and purported reason was supposedly that he had put some false news. Whatever be the reason, the Kannada version of the website has been extremely popular. And I believe there was a fair amount of backlash on leading up to, in fact, the judge had passed some very stinging comments about why this was happening and so on and so forth. So I think there is some undercurrent also happening. So we have to see how that plays out. But be that as it may, I think we are in for another interesting 2 to 3 weeks moving forward. But in your opinion, Salman Khurshid doesn't really have that much of gravitas, and maybe his statement actually hurts the Congress in Karnataka, you think?
He just might end up doing what Kapil Sibal did to the Congress in Gujarat. You see, Kapil Sibal's statement on Ayodhya was telling the Supreme Court that they should postpone a decision until after the Lok Sabha election. And here, now you have Mr. Salman Khurshid saying that. So, as I said before, it could take away some Muslim votes away from the Congress. How much and where all has to be seen. When I say where all, I mean the segments in Karnataka. There are areas, where the JDS is very strong. So those areas, in any case, the Muslims would have voted for the JDS. But I would like to see what happens in regions which are Congress strongholds. I would like to see what happens in the Mysuru region, for example. Let's see how the Muslims vote there post Salman Khurshid remark.
Yeah, we are in for some interesting battles ahead. So thank you very much, Rajesh. We'll touch base again soon.
Yeah, thank you. And just one last point. Yeah. Let us not forget that the Prime Minister has yet to begin his campaign in Karnataka. You spoke about very close finish that the opinion polls are predicting. These close finishes are there before the Prime Minister begins his campaign, which is supposed to start sometime on the 29th of this month and going on up to the 10th of the next month. He's supposed to address about 10 to 14 rallies. So if it is a close finish now, you never know what happens.
That's absolutely true. In fact, the parts of Karnataka that were occupied by the Nizam, there are a lot of Hindi-speaking people. So there would be a good hearing of what the Prime Minister has to say. So it's going to be very interesting. Karnataka has many parts, and the northern part has a sizable amount of Hindi, Marathi, and so on. People understand the language well because Nizam used to rule that place, and so on and so forth. So we'll see how it plays out. Thank you very much, Rajesh.
Thank you.